Miles, and I'm going to be presenting my implementation strategy for blended learning in the radiography classroom. I'm using Google Classroom because it is very user friendly. We currently use Brightspace at our college, but I'm not allowed to create a course within Brightspace until it is approved by administration. So this was the easiest way that I thought I could do that. So the purpose of this is a 5-week course that I am going to be presenting to my fellow radiography educators to convince them to switch to a blended learning model and use more digital tools to enhance learning and increase student engagement. So before the course even begins, they will get an email asking them to do a little bit of preparation. We will be doing our first course in person. Course number 2 will be synchronous online, and then weeks 3, 4, and 5 will be asynchronous. And then we will have another in-person session at the end. So the breakdown is essentially 10% synchronous, 20% in person, and the remainder will be asynchronous. So they will get an email. In the email, we'll talk about what is the purpose of this, and it is to inspire to add digital tools to your courses to enhance engagement, create ubiquitous access for your learners, create self-directed learners by adding blended elements across the radiography curriculum. And so we're going to walk through those key elements that I think will inspire them to do that. And they will be collaborating among each other. We all have specific content expertise. We will have multiple different activities. And then we will keep within the JCERT guidelines, which is our assessment program for the RadTech program. I have the course goals and outcomes here outlined. They can actually see the course outline and then the Fink's 3-column table where they can make the connection between the learning goals, the activities, and the actual assessment activities. We're doing a backward design here. And so we're going to be talking about what ultimately our goals are, and then we're going to have different learning instructional strategies in order to reach those outcomes. We are mainly a competency-based program, but we have some opportunities for some more outcomes-based assessment. So I want to try to convince them that we want to do that. The course design, every module is going to recap and discuss the previous week. So there'll be some discussion first. There will be an introduction video for what the week's content is, whatever I think specifically they need to know that maybe they don't know. We'll have some kind of lesson or workshop that will be interactive. There will be a discussion, and then we will have some element of homework. I tell them to just bring their laptop and open mind, their specific course syllabi, because we're going to try to see who crosses over in content areas so that we can align our learning activities with our assessment areas for our accrediting body, which is the Joint Review Commission of Education in Radiologic Technology. So that's all before they even show up. It's not too much, but maybe a little bit more than they want. So getting started, I do introduce myself. They know who I am. There's 15 educators here. I was the most resistant to adding technology and changing the way that I did things. I was very much we're doing great. We have a very successful program. Why would we change anything? And so I joined this program because I knew that I needed to transform my thinking, and I have been very inspired. And so I feel like I have the most I probably have the best opportunity to sway the minds of my fellow educators because they knew what my thought process was before that. We do have a learner faculty lounge. If there's any questions that they have, I do ask them to let them know what their to let their fellow classmates, fellow educators know what their present understanding of blended learning is and what they currently use in their courses, and then kind of hope what they gain from the session, what they hope to gain from the session. And then I have the little meeting links, kind of a rough schedule that will be in person again during report back week, and then we will have an online synchronous meeting. All faculty have to be on campus on Mondays, and so this will be our first, well, they don't even have to be on campus for that, but it will be online. And then week 3, 4, and 5 can be done asynchronously once I put I pair the faculty up with other members that will be crossing over content. I have a link there so they can work in teams. And then if they have any technology issues, I have the links there for who needs to help them do that. You can see that here are the 5 weeks. First, we're going to start with the course goals. So we're going to start with the goals in mind before we even begin. We're going to talk about improving our digital literacy, how and why collaboration is so important. We're going to figure out our first activity and work to implement it. And then we're going to talk about what we have learned and where we're going from here. So let's talk first about our course goals. I have designed the course, even though I will act as the presenter and the facilitator in a lot of these areas. The goal is to create a mentor-mentee situation between the educators, because again, we have about half of the faculty that feel very comfortable with technology. The other half does not feel as good about it. We have recently switched from Blackboard to Brightspace, and so a lot of that apprehension comes from not understanding how to even use Brightspace. And so it will be student-centered once, I do the small bits of presentation. So I have a lot of this just segmented into little small blocks. And so again, every week we'll have an introduction video. We will have a short lesson, and this one, a blended learning in today's classroom. And then what tools can we use to enhance learning? And then we will have a group discussion about what tools are actually being used by the faculty. And then have you even considered using tools? Again, we're a very successful program, and it's done very traditionally. And so convincing some of my fellow educators, just like me, is going to be a little bit of a challenge. And then for their homework, they actually do have to go and review our accreditation assessment plan and identify their areas that could actually be a potential where we could use these blended learning elements and these outcome-based assessments, and then bring back 2 of those so that they can collaborate with their peers to figure out what we can actually do there. Now, week 2, improving our digital literacy. Again, we're going to recap. Like I said, every week we're going to have a little discussion board where we talk about what we talked about the week before, what were those things that they found in their homework to bring back that we potentially could add as a tool and change how we assess. And then we'll have an introduction video. So again, since we switched to Brightspace, not everybody feels great in it. And so we will have an interactive workshop for best practices. And then they will have a little tutorial video, and then they will create a classroom and an assignment and a discussion board within the LMS. And then for their homework, I actually want them to go explore their own digital literacy. So first, identify what tools you actually use, and then see if there's a more updated version of it or a better version just by doing a simple search. So just a little bit of exploring to see, what do you currently use that you're comfortable with? Is there or even those tools, is there an updated version of that? And then same thing, same setup for week 3. And then if we skip down to week 5, this is where we do a lot of the reflection. So this actually needs to be moved to the bottom, but because the final meeting that we have will be a wrap up discussion. But I first want them to talk about and post about, what is their next steps, what kind of goals are they setting, how can they assess what they do and change. So again, a recap and a pulse check. We're going to have a discussion on student-centered learning and giving students essentially control of their learning. And then we have some videos on that. And then a reflection that is an action plan, essentially. And then there is a comprehensive course survey where I can actually see, how successful we were on meeting those, the goals of our backward design. Essentially, did I convince them? Do they feel good about it? What did they think was most beneficial? And then, we will reconvene for this wrap up discussion after we give them a while to reflect, a week or two maybe, to set some goals and then assess, what they do and if they can actually change what they do. So I still have quite a few elements to add, some assignments to flesh out, but this is where I am currently.